Thank you, everyone, for coming. We are the Just Stew Orchestra, and this is going to be the world premiere of a mostly original composition called 5 Movements in D and a Tree. And we're really excited to play this with you all. Because you are just as much a part of it as we are. And so we're gonna see what happens. There's a loose plan for this song, but it'll unfold as it unfolds depending on how we play together. So I want us to just kind of start. We can kind of close our eyes and we're gonna be in this together. Close our eyes. And I want us to try and listen for the furthest sound away that we can hear. Whether that's outside the door, upstairs, one of the cars driving by. Just sit and listen for a moment. Once you find that, lock into it, follow the sound. It might be hard to hear, but I think we can do it. And now, we're going to turn the sound inward. Our bodies make sounds, make lots of sounds. So what I want us to do is listen to the sounds now that we can hear in our bodies. It may be kind of hard with what's going on now. But listen to the sound of your ears, the sound of your eyes blinking, the sound of your heart beating. And then of course there's the sound in our heads, and that's just as real. We need to listen to what they're telling us. And what's playing now is just a single note, the note D. So I want us to try and start coming together as a kind of musical mind, and we're just gonna hum that note. And then once we're ready, we're going to open our mouth. We're going to sing it.
really appreciate it if you do.
that was a free improvisation. And we're gonna keep going now. And I'm gonna tell you all about where I live. And I hope you don't come and find me, because I'll be kind of messed up. But every day, for the last couple months, I walk the same stretch of river. It's not a very big river, but there are plenty of animals and, you know, lots of birds. I've seen lots of creatures, I suppose, on this river. And I really do enjoy walking this part of my river twice a day. It's quite nice. And so, there's this one tree that I see every day. The last tree on the banks of the river Waseda. And it's such a beautiful tree. I wish I had a projector so we could project this tree. But there's this mighty row of sakura to walk through. But recently I've been imagining myself as a monkey, kind of perched on the tree, you know? With my toes curled around the branches, just like that. But recently I've been seeing this great white heron. It sits in the river every day. Today, as I'm walking to come here, I saw a new one for the first time. There were two today. Isn't that so beautiful? So I'm a monkey, right? And I've moved into this tree, the last tree on the banks of the river Waseda. And this bird comes over to me, and I'm thinking this is a chill bird, right? It's gotta be a chill bird. No, it's not. First, it comes over and it's like, hey man, you got any sugar? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a monkey, dude. I got sugar, I don't know. Fuck yeah, take it out of my tree. And then this guy just starts pecking at me, and he pecks my eyes out. What's up with that? What the fuck's up with that? I'm like, dude, that's not okay. That can't happen again, right? The next day, right? I have no eyes, right? This great white heron comes knocking again. He pecks at my fucking tongue this time. I can't speak anymore. So I'm just sitting there and I'm listening. That is until the next day. This little guy, he comes over and he pecks my ears off. What the hell? What the hell, guys? So now I'm sitting there with my my toes curled on the tree. It's a nice branch. The last tree on the banks of the river Waseda. And I can't see. I can't touch. I can't hear anymore. And so I decide to go to the doctor, right? And I go to this doctor and I'm thinking, this guy's gonna fix me, right? I hope so. I hope so. And he does. He works up his magic. A great elephant doctor. The best I ever had. But as my sight slowly restores itself, the two pictures blurred, merge into one. And I see on the mantelpiece there, above this great elephant doctor's fireplace, I see a picture of the bird who pecked my eyes out. I think I was just subject to insurance fraud. by the pelican next door.
They were nowhere to be found. Seems like I got left me by all that was the most. But I remember what the man that was. As it did, I knew I went too far and broke his arm on. And I remembered something should have been lost. A secret mission, he said, all is not lost. The memories that touch up one by one. Rushing up and give me one of the very special. He was at the taking of my right hand man. But I remember chasing my head. And these are not the water. Get up.